please welcome Ivanti's Chief Product Officer, Sri Mukkamala.
Welcome to day 2 of ISS. Had an amazing last 2 days. I hope you all did. I did. I met so many people, partners, customers, who we actually partner with, their technology that actually enables you all. So it's been great last 2 days. And you also heard from our innovation, right? One of the amazing things, what we brought back to this ISS that you haven't seen in the past was our innovation challenge. So people talk about innovation, but they don't really come show it. And one thing I heard was, you heard Jeff talk about AI, and we said we've been very thoughtful, the human at the center. And what I heard was everybody wanted that AI winner of this year, which was in ITSM, opened up to you all today, right? We're actually going to go back and work with you on the design partners and actually open that up for you to actually use it. And when you look at yesterday, when Jeff talked about what we are really trying to do, from truly building a purpose-built IT and security platform for the CIO and the CISO, several analysts and several partners asked me a question. Hey, we see a lot of security. Where do you really see IT here? And you'll actually see that today, right? Every single thing we're designing, we are being very thoughtful about what we call data harmonization. When you actually peel the onion back and take a look at what's under the hood, it's the metadata. And Jeff also touched on something called extensibility. I mean, these are very subtle words that are being used. If you catch what that means is, in the talk yesterday, looking at the future, what enables the future is your APIs today. When you look at AI, the fundamental thing that enables AI is the data. For data to be functional, you got to have a platform. For a platform to be functional, you have to have extensibility. Extensibility means having APIs, right? You'll actually see a lot of those things come together, and this is what I'm going to talk about today. How are we building a platform in a very thoughtful, extensible way, so where we can have our solutions seamlessly solve some very hard problems you're trying to do in a day-to-day basis. Why are we doing this? I mean, what's the root cause for that? Every one of you, from your boards, from your executive teams, have one mandate: consolidate solutions. It's not just the money piece. There are 3 factors that are pushing everyone to consolidate your solutions. Risk. Security is becoming a real problem because you're collecting a lot more data than you're ever used to. And if you don't know where you're collecting data, how you're using data, that's going to be a problem. You don't have enough people to manage what you have. There's a lot of shelfware. People spend trillions of dollars on software. Are we really getting the ROI? And you'll hear this from Jeff if you actually are any one of the calls. And Dennis, they asked me one question. Hey, the customer bought a software for $10. Are we returning 10x ROI? By the way, I'll be very honest here. We struggle to answer that question. The reason is we don't look at business. We look at software, but we need to bring that together. Solution consolidation is a very important thing to look at. Can I get power outcomes from what you actually purchase from that? You'll actually see that today as well. We have massive shortage of IT, massive shortage of security, and now we have a new breed called the fairy dust AI, right? Again, underneath it is computer science, but we have shortage. How do you really bring in AI at deliver the best from the products you have? Vendor chaos, right? Vendor buffet is just not working. I mean, I'll make a joke. I won't offend any ethnicity. I love Chinese buffet. I do, because I can eat it all. But now I do yoga. I keep fit. I rarely actually, now I time it, I can only do 2 buffets a year. Whether it's Vegas, I used to do that almost every week. Now I do just 2 a year, because I just want to eat whatever I can. That's the same thing with vendors too, right? I mean, you all are used to a G5 license, an E5 license, an F5 license. What does it really mean? Does it really solve your need today? Or do I go find 10 different vendors to solve the same problem. So the best of breed versus the platform story, there's a lot of talk going on how do you consolidate vendors. There's a lot of uncertainty on AI, right? Let's not kid ourselves. And I'll tell you one thing, AI is here to stay. AI is here to disrupt. AI is here to change the way we live, the way we work, the way we actually deliver what we consider our services. And when you look at what we are trying to do at Ivanti, this is a very important thing, right? We are actually solving some very hard problems. Thank you all for being extremely loyal to what we are, who we are, and how we are actually a part of your mission, right? It's all about the purpose. And you're giving us an opportunity for the greater good of a global company, not just individually, locally. The number one thing, you'll hear this from our execs as well, employee experience. You heard that yesterday on the AI keynote as well. Don't forget humanity, right? Kindness is a choice. It's not about just working in front of a screen, right? I mean, a lot of techies are not social people. I can just live in my VR and not ever look at a human being, right? But that's not life. A lot of us are ambassadors of technology. Most of you serve your execs, serve your employees. You interact with humans, right? So we have to improve the employee experience. And today you're going to see that while we talk about employee experience, it's about two types of employee experience we're talking about. It's your internal stakeholders, it's your external stakeholders as well. But when you really look at underneath that, what is it? It's the metadata again. It's the instrumentation, the data that's going to surface up, give you a security posture. Here I'll talk about where IT comes in. For a CIO, security is an important thing from a risk perspective, but at the same time, a CIO organization is really a customer-centric organization. They look at, do I have the right control enabled? Do I have the right proactive way of replacing your batteries? These might sound trivial, but think about it. If your computer is going down and if you have to charge all the time, we call it predictive maintenance. This employee experience is going to actually bring up a lot of those very useful insights for a CIO to be very proactive and really optimize. And you'll actually look at your investments. It's very important to look at, am I investing in the right places? Am I getting the right outcomes? And really, every one of us is on a transformative journey. We're talking about AI. We're talking about going to the cloud. Any single thing that was done on paper and pen is all digitized today. And how do we support you to really get to your outcomes? And ultimately, every one of us talks about cybersecurity. If you're not talking, your legislators are. If your legislators are not talking, your customers are talking. For you to work in cybersecurity, every one of you have to look at enterprise risk. And you'll actually see us, while we're bringing all this together, there is a lot of data we are surfacing for you to proactively look at risk and be a resilient company. It's a very important aspect. It's all about resilience and not reactive. And we talked about disruption. We talked about the platform. Jeff clearly touched on it. We are a purpose-built IT and security platform a CIO and a CISO doesn't have today. That comes with a lot of stuff. So what are we really trying to solve? This is very thoughtful. We worked with several of you. We worked with analysts, and we looked at what products do you have. What we started before we came up with these 5 solutions was, given what we have, what problems you're solving, if we have to logically integrate all our 72 different products, what would that be? It came down to 36 products are really the ones that are solving today's problems, and they'll be relevant in the future. Then when we started integrating, it came down to about 8 different permutations and combinations. And when we talked to you all, what are you trying to solve? It just came down to 5. That's today. This is what we started last year. Again, it might shrink, it might expand, but it's going to be in single digits versus you having to deal with point solutions. Enterprise service management. We released it on time. I think you can clap for that, right? Because last year, when we said in January, we're going to have enterprise service management, which is IT-centric, a lot of heritage for Ivanti, we had a lot of skepticism. Oh, really? Your migrations did not work. Can you guys really do it, right? The data speaks for itself. We started our migrations with 30 in 2022. Last year, we did 600. We released that. The next one is secure unified endpoint management. Again, modern device management is a big thing. We brought in mobile. We brought in endpoint. We brought in IoT. Which company can actually do all three device types? Only Ivanti. Our competitors are just catching up to that, right? And we released that as well. This is no more slideware. It's actually functional. It's released. Zero trust. This is somewhere we're actually investing quite a bit on secure access. You'll see secure by design across our portfolio. And we're also touching on how do we enable you from a traditional VPN to get into your journey of zero trust. We released that as well with our TRO motion. Now, what we're looking at this year is bringing in our core strengths of patch management and risk-based vulnerability management. If you haven't noticed, we were the disruptors of that space. We created risk-based vulnerability management in the world. We were the pioneers. If you go back and look at the history, we created that, right? And we can stand behind it. Now, what we're looking at is CAASM. You all love our discovery. I spent a lot of time with several of you. People were really liking our discovery, right? Agent-based, non-agent-based. We had our set of challenges, but we worked with you. And what I heard yesterday was, it's actually functional. It's working. It's giving us a good insight. And I heard one very interesting statement. I want to see it, but my peers don't want to see it because they have to work on that. I loved it, right? That's the whole point of discovery. You want to really know what assets do you have. And you'll start hearing the word asset data as a service, right? That's the harmonization, what we're trying to bring from a platform perspective. You want to know exactly what data you have and which device is actually processing that. CAASM is Cyber Asset Attack Surface Management. Cyber asset is a CIO thing. Attack surface is a CISO thing. When you bring that together, it's a CISO, CIO, looking at the same asset from a management, from a service. That's your ITSM. Management is UEM. Attack surface is the security. This is where you see the whole thing coming together. It might not be obvious, but when you peel each acronym, you'll actually see how a CIO and the CISO are just looking at the same data. That's data harmonization. That is what AI needs. That's exactly how you get your super outcomes, because you're not looking at two consoles, you're looking at the single console. The proof is in the pudding. I'm just going to show it to you right now. So this is why core services. And this is one of the feedbacks, inputs, constructive criticism, if you would say. We listened from you all. Ivanti has 70 products. You don't look like one company. Your UI UX is archaic. You have 5 logins, 10 logins. I don't even know how am I provisioning my users, right? I get 5 welcome emails. All that is behind us, right? I'm happy to say all that is behind us. Number one thing, to do that, we have to be thoughtful. We have to make sure. The example I gave you, 5 screens, archaic, I can't use, it's really cumbersome. What does it really mean? You're manually inputting data. You're looking at multiple screens. You're putting in data all the time. The power of automation is not really there for you, right? That's the first thing we solved. Wherever we have data, we made it easy for you to actually move the data very fast. We documented APIs. We gave you exports. We made sure we can actually ingest the data not only within Ivanti, but also with other tools and products you have. We made sure we reduced your operational friction. What does it really mean? I'm going to show you what we did. You'll actually see that. We made sure it's a consistent user experience, right? This is what core services will actually do. And really ensure time to value. You don't have to wait for 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks before you see value. In some cases, some of you have expressed frustration that it's taking 90 days before you see a product's work. Today, I can assure you with core services, you will see the value within 24 hours. I'm not exaggerating. We can provision, you can log in, you can actually see what you bought. It's in 24 hours. If it's a SaaS solution. The errors. Software will have bugs, right? Let's all be real. And this is where me and Dennis talk all the time. Are we really taking the full advantage of SaaS? The number one thing you'll see is proactive versus reactive. If there is a bug, we can proactively fix it. If there is a security instance, we can proactively fix it. We don't have to have opaqueness on what's really going on. It'll be 100% transparent to you. It'll be a shared mission. We'll actually deal with that. And it's all about productivity, right? We will actually proactively make sure we fix your issues, and we will proactively actually ensure that your productivity actually goes up. It's all a lot of peace here, right? And when you look at the core of what we're trying to do, the first announcement of our core services is one Ivanti login. Please. Three things here. Number one, what does it mean? You don't have to work on 5 provisioning emails. Today, you buy a product, you buy a bundle, you get 3 emails, you have to digest it, you have to add users. Just think about the manual work that goes into it. How error-prone that is. When an employee leaves your company, how do you go remove their access? Security, operational, friction, all that is gone, by the way. That's the beauty of oil. Again, a lot of skepticism. By the way, this is personally to me. When I pitched this in July, they're like, are you real? I said, I am real, and I will deliver, right? And we made a commitment. We said April, ISS was a deadline, a very simple demo here if you look at it. So we're going to do an open ID. The first thing we did was UEM and our MDM. And we're going to extend that to an open ID framework, and then we'll take it to our ITSM, right? If you are a Microsoft Active Directory user, you come in, you pipe in your credentials, you get into your Ivanti account. The first thing you land on is not what you purchased versus what you're trying to get to. You get a simple landing page. Remember, exactly last year by this time, you did not have this. Today, you know what devices you're monitoring. You know what the source of the devices are. You know what your DEX score is. You can clearly see every single thing, right? If you want to go to your MDM to go triage or manage, what do you do today? You actually open a new browser, you put in your credentials. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just go in, pass your access and your authorization. It's right there. It's just right there, right? What does it do? It saved you almost 5 to 7 minutes every single time you have to switch screens and switch context. And you can also see here, it navigates to your MDM. It persists. You'll also notice a very interesting thing if you're paying very close attention to the screens. This is our old screen, if you look at it, right? The charts, the crispness of this shot versus this shot. What we're really doing now is you're actually seeing a very nice transformative UI UX as well. That's not done yet, by the way. You're going to see a lot of good announcements. The other thing, what we have done was bring in complete unified product navigation. Again, why is it important? When you come to Ivanti, you will feel a true one Ivanti, right? The goal here is, depending on what products you purchased, on the left-hand side, you'll see a very clean navigation, right? You'll see a clean navigation. It'll be consistent across all our products. You don't have to remember, learn, switch. You'll have complete consistency. You can do a simple drop-down and take a look at what products did you purchase from Ivanti. Remember, you log in, you persist, your access is preserved, you go all the way to do your work. What is the security thing here? This is all IT, by the way. What is the security thing here? When you leave the organization, I can remove your AD account and not worry about you coming back and logging in and stealing data. By the way, identity is the biggest security nightmare. We solved a security problem, we solved a user problem, and we solved a CIO's productivity problem. We solved 3 problems here by doing this, right? Every one of you wanted to have a self-serve dashboard. Some of my friends from the PS organizations are going to hate me now. Because Jeff last year asked me to go meet with one of our top customers in New York City, largest educational institution. They said, Sri, we are educators. We are the largest medical hospital. We do a lot of interesting things. We use your ITSM product. I have to tell you, every single time I have to present a report, I have to go to your PS, pay him 10 hours to create a dashboard. I said, you shouldn't be doing that. I said, well, that's what we do today. And we actually took that as a personal challenge. I came back to Jeff. I said, you know what? We're going to actually do this in a way. We're going to enable our customers to create dashboards, share dashboards, reuse dashboards, and really bring the value of the data we're collecting. So what we delivered is an extensible dashboard. You can come in today, create your own dashboard, share your dashboards, pick the type of charts you want. You can actually do security control validation. In this case, what you're looking at is, you want to look at how many of my devices don't have an inbuilt firewall turned on. That's important for a CIO. That's important for a security person as well. I can come in, pick the conditions, self-use them, create a big number to really show what's going on, right? And you can use these KPIs to come in and pop them. So that's exactly the use case what you're talking about. You have 104,000 devices that don't have an inbuilt firewall turned on, right? So you can come in and create whatever use cases you're trying to do. By the way, self-serve, share, and elevate what you really want to address. And the feature of AI, right? By the way, we're not done yet, so they're still coming. And the beauty here is, you heard from Jeff yesterday, we've been very thoughtful about the use of AI. We're not in a rush. We want to make sure whatever we do, safety and security are the foremost. And you'll hear from him, some of the interviews he has done. He gave us a very clear mandate. We are not letting people go because of AI. That means something to him. That's the core value. We collectively in the company are taking it to heart, right? And we have an AI governance committee that has legal, sales, marketing, product, all of us. It's a collective thought that's going in. And when you look at what we have done with AI, there are a lot of things we already do with AI, by the way. We haven't started this AI journey because the fairy dust came in. When I talked about risk-based vulnerability management, we were the first team to actually look at machine learning and artificial intelligence to look at attacker behavior and prioritize vulnerabilities. When WannaCry happened, the exploit was actually built using machine learning code obfuscation so it can prevent every antivirus solution out there. We're the guys who wrote it, right? We're proud of what we did. But at the same time, when you start looking at what we did in MDM, the app security piece actually uses AI as well. But now we're talking about another evolution of Gen AI. So in Ivanti, what we did was, we were the first pilot for Microsoft Copilot to take ITSM and showcase the power of what you can do in service management. I think we deserve a clap for that, right? And this was showcased at Microsoft's October launch of Copilot. The first use case we did was incident correlation. Really correlating all your incidents so you can truly address the ones that are most important. We worked on knowledge bases. This is, again, a very important aspect, self-serve, based on the tickets, based on what you're doing, triaging, being able to create knowledge bases, right? Again, this is also for our innovators. This is also for our extensible partners, how we can actually work with you on creating these knowledge bases. We worked on incident summarization. Think about every one of these. Our partners now can start offering services. They can proactively engage with our customers. For you internally, your organizations are going to do a lot better from a performance perspective. We had NLP-based dashboards. You can search with simple sentences and text, and you'll get back the results with full context. We have done AI assistant ticket context, right? You actually have that as well. Come in, look at the self-serve, drag and drop, and really create a lot of stuff. The other one, which is a very important one, extensibility. You're spending a few months to do integrations. There were a lot of questions about Ivanti products, intra products, right? Intra. What we did last year was, October we said, we're going to actually partner with an integration platform as a service. We partner with Workado. The number one goal is extensibility of our ITSM and expand it to other Ivanti products. We said we will launch it on Jan 1st. Super aggressive, a lot of skepticism. We worked with design partners. We exactly released on Jan 1st. Yes, it's a new year. We actually released this. Today, by default, you have 1,000 integrations, 5,000 plus recipes. You can actually see that. When you log into your ITSM, if you're a design partner, if it's provisioned, you can actually see pretty much anybody and everybody you do business with, we have an ability to integrate very quickly. And by the way, if you have worked with our ITSM, it's really powerful from a low-code, no-code. The first integration we did was with Ivanti products, because that's a question we get asked. Can you integrate within your own product? We did that. And if you look at the use case here, it's Ivanti with Jira. And a lot of you asked, will you integrate with the competitors? We said, end of the day, we co-live, co-survive, and we co-compete. And we integrated with Jira. Why? We keep talking about IT, we keep talking about security. We forgot the most important class, the developer. Here we go. The ADO integration, the Jira integration now brings a developer into Ivanti, which are always left on the left, right? You can actually see this integration here. And finally, you'll also look at how do you truly manage your attack surface. It's been the real challenge with IT, you just looked at, with security, with AI, with all types of different devices. Your exponential growth of your attack surface is very hard to manage. First, you need to know what it is. You want to get an advantage from an attacker's view, right? What are attackers seeing about? What are adversaries seeing about our network? What do they know about us that we don't know? It's a very important question. And here, if you take a look at what Ivanti has been doing over the years, cyber asset attack surface management, we have an amazing asset discovery solution. It's actually one of the best in the industry, right? We actually do much better job than our competitors. The next thing is risk-based prioritization. We just talked about it. We were the pioneers in it. And we also talked about continuous attack surface discovery. Once I know what's on the attack, I can enumerate, I can look for exposures. The best of it is patch. That's our heritage. We are the best patch vendor today. If you take a look at every security company out there, majority of them underneath the hood, that's Ivanti, Qualys, Broadcom, you name it, SentinelOne, Palo Alto. By the way, it's Ivanti. I don't know how many of you actually paid attention to that. It's our engine that they use to fix the problems they find. Then why not we put all this together? That's exactly what we have done. CAASM is all about bringing the strengths of Ivanti together and being able to automate how you discover an asset, the enumeration, the exposure, and remediation. Today, we also announced another blockbuster, external attack surface management. I heard a lot of you were thrilled and you want it turned on. Absolutely, we can turn it on, right? And here, when you look at it, the number one goal is to make sure you have a clear visibility into your assets before the attacker. Simple, that's it. We're trying to be proactive from an attacker standpoint. You can look at your devices exposed, you can look at your exposures, you can take a look at time over time on a continual basis. This is not static, this is not happening one at a time, it's continuously monitoring your attack surface, right? You can look at your top vulnerabilities, your grids, your prioritization, your global presence, your exposure, remediation. How many are we finding? How many are you remediating? That's what your CIO wants to know. Is my CISO doing my job? The CISO wants to know, are we really fixing what I told my CIO to fix? And when you start looking at it, if you want to get more insights, you can go in, you can get into the details, go asset by asset and get all the details. And when you start, let's say we don't find an asset. You can actually go add an asset. We give you that extensibility as well. You can import assets as well. So it's just not whatever we see, but you can have a mechanism to add things, remove things. The simple CURD functionality, you actually have that. And then you can look at your exposures by risk, and you also get complete details about what's on an asset, what's really high risk. You get the scores of what's going on. And if you want to go the details of the vulnerability, we clearly tell you the risk, the prioritization, the known exploits, the remediation. Wait, that's it? By the way, now you can tie it to my ITSM, you can kick on my workflow, and you can do an auto-remediate. That's the beauty, the closed loop Jeff talked about, the end-to-end, the workflows. Now, we can look at it, we can prioritize it, we can actually take an action. It's just not a reporting, but you can actually act on it. So that's the beauty of what we're trying to accomplish through this as well. With this, what I'm going to end with is the vision what Jeff had and Ivanti had on truly building a purpose-built CIO, CISO platform is real. It is not vaporware, it is not PowerPoint, it is real. Every single slide had design partners underneath it. Some of you kicked the tires, you gave us the input, and we're super thrilled for your partnership, how we are a part of your journey, and we want to have greater outcomes. So with that, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a simple innovation highlight, right? We talked about the culture of innovation. We started this last year, and we're continuing the tradition. A lot of the UI UX screens were internal company innovation. We had 600 people compete in the innovation. The final design is what you actually have seen. We did the same thing here. You'll actually see a quick video on innovation. So with this, we hope we delivered what we promised, right? And there's a lot more you can learn. You've been doing that at our expo halls. Actually, thank you for spending some time with the product managers, with our solution engineers, with our SCs, with our AEs, right? It means a lot to us, right? We put in a lot of effort, and we'll live this, right? We spend more time in building and servicing, right? We are part of this mission like you all are. And we do take your inputs and feedbacks very seriously, and you can see that in action. So we hope we delivered to your expectations. And if you haven't been to our Expo Center, and if you haven't at least met one Ivantian, please do so. That means a lot to us. With that, thank you all for being here, and it's a great honor to represent Ivanti and be at your service. Thank you.